Hi everyone, welcome to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. This is a flash moonlight stream. Thank you guys so much for your patience throughout the day. And I just have just a couple of stories, nothing too heavy, just a bit of commentary on today's news and today's happenings. Please let me know if you can hear me. I just want to say a shout out to the loyal patrons, Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, the Definition of Anarchy, Chrysler Imperial H, Angel, well, it's also Angel's Army now, Little Miss Goth, Gary L. Young Keys Jr., as well as shout out to Cold War Jesus. Shout out to everybody that's in the stream. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Hi, DJ Vision Barnett. It's been a lifetime. How are you? Hi, AZ Infidel. Hope you guys are doing well. Just a couple of things, just a bit of commentary. I know I mentioned I would come back today, and I got a little bit away from things. Things got away from me, I could say that. But yeah, we talked about a few things earlier today. We've had, of course, some prolific figures to pass away, including the late Herman Cain, which is very sad. There's something very familiar about Herman Cain, and I'm not sure if I can do him justice at this time, but I will wait. But I've seen a lot of course, nasty politicizations coming from the left. They can't help themselves. It's almost if they want to say that he somehow, it's a very serves him right kind of a tone that I get. But considering the source, you're dealing with a lot of derelict characters and gossip rag types from CNN and gosh knows, MSNBCs. How much farther are they from TMZ? It's actually, I don't consider that news. It's one of the biggest propaganda arms out there. So hope you guys can hear me. Please let me know if you can. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. So I want to just look at really quickly just some of the comments from Ana Navarro. I tell you, it's one thing I noticed about the left. It just seems that many people on the left are there's something. It's just like there's this bitter, angry, unhappy people that are. It comes through regularly. And Ana Navarro is one of those. She somehow claims to be conservative or Republican on some level, but I doubt. I don't think so. I think she's more of a defector, is what I would call her. She's kind of like she's worse than a rhino. Way worse. And I've heard her talk about many things, make really snarky, nasty comments. Especially, I've heard her make comments about Black conservatives over the years, and she had something to say about Trump supporters once upon a time, whether they were I think it was an attack on conservatives. Like, because I think it was Robert Johnson of BET that made a comment that was maybe last fall about Trump style and how he advanced and actually talked about his actual accomplishments in the Black community and what a 20% or 30% would look like for him to have that type of voter turnout, which they would never admit it anyway. But her whole shtick was, oh, wow, what type of what type of black people could be voting for Donald Trump? And that was her whole thing. Just really like just a nasty character. But I guess I'm not surprised, but I'll share this tweet with you guys. Let's see. Hope you guys are doing well. Shout out to everybody that's in the stream. If you're thinking about stopping in, lovely to have you guys here. You do your care and take care to hit that like or unlike button. That will be the thumbs up or the thumbs down button. I should get that correct for the sake of Channelytics. But with that said, I'm also going to just give you a little bit of this from Navarro. All right. She says here 12 hours ago, which would put us at, I guess that would be 8:22 a.m. I mean, I guess she can't help herself, along with the networks and the commentary that she gives. She says Herman Cain thought COVID was a hoax, scoffed at wearing a mask, died of COVID. Bill Montgomery, co-founder of Pro-Trump Turning Point USA, scoffed at the virus, died of COVID. Rep Gomer refused to wear a mask, has COVID. See a pattern? COVID doesn't care about partisanship. Well, I'm not sure if anybody's asking her. Yeah, maybe she's got it. She might be careful. Sometimes, sometimes if things don't come to you, they'll come to somebody close to you. So she might want to check that nastiness at the door. Check her nastiness with her own mask. But then here you have, of course, I do remember seeing, of course, are they going to try to blame Trump for Herman Cain's decision of attending his rally? Is that, I guess that's what they're drumming it up for. As in this picture, you see many more will sadly go this way. That's just so genuine of all of these Ana Navarro fans. All right, so this is a picture you see here. I think you see Deneen Borelli. I think it's Paris Denard. Not sure about the person that's to the left of Herman Cain here, but that's Herman Cain, of course, in the center. And then I'm not sure who it is to the right. But this was the last Trump rally. But you know what? There's one thing about whether you're ailing from anything, many people they're going to enjoy their last years. And, if he left this earth doing what he wanted to do, then I'm sure he's fine with that, Ana Navarro. Something tells me nothing. You're not happy with anything. So you're just miserable. There's a lot of miserable people. And this culture that they're teaching right now, this communist, nihilist culture that they're promoting, it's a lot more people are going to be miserable. So that's where you get that from. So that is, of course, Herman Cain, and he looks absolutely like he was having a blast. Of course, he knew something that she didn't know, because it was his business how he wanted to handle his own life. And from what I understand, he had a pre-existing condition. So, of course, they're not talking about that. This is just another fear casualty to add to the narrative. But, I think Herman Cain was a happy man, and I think he left this earth. He did what he wanted to do, and he did what he came to do. So, shout out to AZ Zinfandel, who says, is it possible for a real libtard to conceal their motives as they think with their feelings. It trips them up every time. Shout out to DJ Vision Barnett, who says, amazing, amazing. Nothing that they do surprises me. Hi, Garrett Reed. Shout out to you. Nothing that they do surprises me. I mean, I've heard this rhetoric before from them. Can you guys hear me out there? I've seen this before. Hi, Celia. Thank you so much for coming in. It seems like it's been a lifetime. Nice to see you. But yes, we've seen this type of behavior. Anything, okay. If you didn't realize, we're under 100 days right now. And thanks so much, AZ Infidel. And so you're going to see more nastiness from them. And thank you so much, Celia. As I want to be nice to see you. Shout out to everybody that's in the stream. This is a flash Moonlight stream because I had to end pretty abruptly earlier today, which I've had some extra things to go on, some things that entered around like 5-6 weeks ago. So I had to start flipping the schedule and making the schedule a little bit wonky, but not to worry. I will be redoing the schedule and it will be a consistent schedule because it will be, I've had to work these things in. So now that they're in, I just know I need to put those, I just have to add those, and it won't have interruptions. Yes. Herman Cain, I think, was a very proud American patriot. He really was. I think he was an example of the American dream. And I don't want to spill the beans or be the spoiler, but you guys really should see the movie Uncle Tom, because that's one of the last appearances, the last edited or that I've seen him in. And I mean, he gives a very heartfelt and a very warm account of how he started. And like I said, I'm not going to spoil it, but I think in order to see that, it just makes his story more real. And I mean, he shatters all the victimhood and all the victocrat status all the way around. And I'm going to end up talking about this documentary. So if you can see that documentary, it's worth the money. And I'm not saying that I know that times are tougher and things are more complex right now, but I'm not sure. I think it might even be, on some level, it might be sold out. But I know at one point, at least a week or two ago, that movie was on IMDb and it was number 1. So what's staggering about that is, no, it's not staggering, that people in other parts of the world have seen that documentary and Americans have not seen that documentary. And, they just keep rooting the USA on. And then meanwhile, we have people around us just tearing it down. And that kind of segues me back into what I was saying earlier today. I'm just really sick of the whole, and this is not a dig into, this comes at a wonky time that I'm saying this, but I'm saying this is not, rest in peace to John Lewis. But, the civil rights movement, I think, had some tactics there that I think were more harmful than good, because everybody's flying under the banner now. And they've almost undone everything that they were fighting for under that banner. But my assertion is, stop creating false martyrs and stop looking for martyrs. Look within yourself. Do that. Stop. I mean, if you're, whether you're a Christian or whatever, if you're not looking for, and I'm not here to profess any type of religion. I'm not here to express my personal beliefs or to impede or impugn on anybody. But there's a lot to be said for individuality and for self-sustainability. And I think the more we get into, when you look at the kinds of attacks that are going on, it just seems to be many, I find that more people have more issues with themselves than they do anybody else. I mean, if you're constantly looking around and you can't get enough pity parties, or you can't get enough sympathy all day long, you just want to go over and borrow somebody else's. If that's your way, if that's been your way, if that's how you've gotten through life, then you need that. You have a lot of people, they need that. When they find when they run out of things to complain about, they go and start looking into somebody else's pain, or somebody else's cross to bear, if you will. They might not have the whole story. They may have never met the person, never seen them in their life. But here, let me take up this person's problem because it's now my problem. Because it's readily available. Now I've given some, I don't give too many personal accounts, but everybody has a different experience. But if you're depending on, I mean, the thing about it is that the unique part about when people talk about racism, or you talk about, I prefer to use the word discrimination or prejudice more than I would defer to a racism, is because there's different types of discrimination, and there's a different culture of discrimination. I find in different parts. You can find different parts of that. You can find that in different parts of the country, but you can also find a jerk in different parts of the country or different parts of a store. But what you won't be short on, depending on where you're from, you will never be short on victimhood. And when all else fails, and when all the comfort zone, when the comfort zone is just too hard to come out of, they default. It's a default. But I'm not going to lie to you and say, somebody, I've been told a couple of times, I've been told more than a couple of times, oh, well, you're not going to be able to do that because you're black, right? But you know what? I never bought into it. And I never held on to all. Can you imagine if you hold on to every little thing? I mean, as a kid, that's your capacity for dealing with those kinds of things, it might be smaller. But as you get older, this is my thing. I say, look, I can't be responsible for your insecurities, because you want to know what? I either have my own or I had my own and I dealt with mine. Now you need to go deal with yours. Shout out to you, AC Zinfandel. I mean, it's just, I just think, you have to work on, I just believe in working on myself. And even that is not without, that approach is not going to leave you without some level of cynicism. That still makes me slightly a cynic, but to Old School Wolf. You guys check Old School Wolf out. It's still not quite death by altruism. I'm not quite, that's not the type of cynic that I'm expressing there. I'm just saying that, the thing about working on yourself is when you work on yourself, you find that many people around you, they're not working on themselves, or they're not changing. But the more you work on yourself, the further you find yourself away from the less you might have in common, or you just don't want that kind of energy anymore. You just don't want it. Shout out to Crazy Chick Sheena. Thank you so much for coming in. Yeah, Crazy Chick Sheena says, and I'm doing this without my camera tonight. Had some issues earlier today, but nonetheless. Yeah, but I do think Herman Cain was a solid guy overall. More than a solid guy overall. I think he lived the American dream. Did anybody hand it to him? No. Did he have some struggles? That's why I say go watch the movie for yourself. I mean, the thing I'm going to say, and I'm not going to talk about Herman Cain anymore. I'm going to try not to, is that Herman Cain had a very real, I think he had a very real, not a folksy, if you will, for the lack of a better term, way of talking to people, that I think he could talk to anybody. And I don't think you would get, I don't think he did that. I don't think he had a tone I don't think he was an unapproachable man. I think that his success, I think he had the right formula. And I think he came from a legacy of people that had the right formula, and he just stayed on that track. I'll tell you one thing from that. The one quote that he said that stands out to me. This is from Uncle Tom. The one thing that he said was, people would ask him, well, how did you deal with racism? Now, I'm paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing. So you go see it. If you run into something similar, then maybe you'll recognize it from what I'm saying. But he said, people would ask, or other people would ask, well, how'd you deal with racism? And he simply said, I don't. So basically, like, I don't deal with it. Generally, like, that's that person's problem. And that's exactly where I come to, the point in which I think it's similar to what I'm saying about my own mantra, I guess, is, everybody's got their own insecurities. So don't go around passing yours off to other people. If you're insecure about something, fix it up. That's something you can do. You can do something about yourself, but you cannot do anything about anybody else's success. You cannot do anything about a person being taller than you or having better hair than you. And I'm going to say this might even be, this is a provocative thing to say, but I'm going to say this. I don't believe that my existence, or the skin or the shell that I'm in, I don't believe that's a mistake. I don't. And you can draw it down to spiritual, religious, whatever it is, whether you're a Christian or whatever you are. I don't believe God made a mistake on me. I don't. That's the imperfections. That's the imperfections and the good things. That goes for the one arm that might be an eighth of an inch longer than the one on the left. I don't believe it was a mistake. So I think people need to let's look at the whole composition. And you're out here asking the government to do all these things and try to make everything There's nothing they can do about that. They can't. I'm not angry because I'm black, and you know what? The government can't do anything about me being black. I'm not angry, but I also am not interested in living in a segregated state. Shout out to Crazy Chick Sheena. Shout out to DJ Vision Barnett. So nice to see you, DJ. And to your point, Crazy Chick Sheena, he said Kane believed in self-work, education, and self-independent, and not handouts of victimhood. And see, there you go. Now you're tapping into something else. That is why I say this documentary is so vital. It fills in, if you have any gaps, if you have, I mean, everybody, of course, education is as unique as anything. But you've got to, if you can see that documentary, I would suggest seeing it. I mean, in fact, I would like to get a hard copy of that documentary. But I also say in these times that we are in, I mean, there's a unique opportunity out there to, you get to see where your kids are, where their reading levels are. I mean, can they read to you? Would you want them to read to you? I mean, I'm just saying, I mean, you get to see what they've been doing all these years. And I think that's important to do. It would certainly be an interest of mine. I personally don't have any children, but I think it would be an interest of mine because they may not expect it, but I think I would be a parent that, I'm always, there's a spot check. And I mean, and then the thing about it is, with self-esteem and this kind of a thing, I think if for the people out there that need, or if you need a lot of affirmations, I think you should get those earlier in life. And I think this is a good time because, sometimes you don't feel that, you may not feel that inclusive in a classroom with 27 or 30 kids because it's that many kids. Not only is it that many kids, you're not going to get that attention that you need. You're not going to get that one-on-one. And so now you guys I'm turning into like some kind of, I'm half rant, half whatever right now. But I mean, if you go back in time, what am I thinking here? Late 19th century, early 20th century, where you had, your W.E.B. Du Bois or your Booker T. Washington, they talk about those individuals at the time. But who are the kids studying right now? They're studying these SJWs, these Colin Kaepernicks, these Jamil Hills, these, geez, oh, pizza. They're studying everything except for history. And then you have a revisionist history attempt to make people even more, to create a more nihilistic tone in the country. So it's a huge breakdown and it's out of control. I think we talked about that the other day. Was it 1619, the New York Times? New York Times wants to tell your kids, teach your kids. Celia says, I'm ranting. Yeah, this is a mild rant. I don't even know if I can call this a rant, but it is. It is on some level. I'm just thinking, it's not, I don't know if I don't know if a leader is what a leader marching around is what's necessary. I don't think that's not a transcending, and everybody wants to do marches and protest, and I just don't think that's effective at this point. I mean, I once heard somebody say, and this is more of a, I think he was emphasizing something else, but I heard somebody say once, and I'm not saying that, I'm not advocating for anything specifically. I'm just saying that I've heard another perspective that said once, oh, you guys are. He even went to the left coast, and he says, yeah, you guys are protesting out there. Yeah, like well, he was like, if you guys aren't protesting with a gun, then you're just complaining. Shout out to JT. Shout out to everybody that's in the stream. Thank you guys for taking care to hit that thumbs up or the thumbs down and dare to share it out. I appreciate you guys for coming in on this flash stream. So I'm just saying, I mean, if you just go into if you go back in history, there's other countries and other cultures that have gone through the same types of martyrdom. And where did it get them? So we just like I just don't, it's a concern. It's a concern for there to be such a neediness. Oh, we need a leader. We need a leader. Why? If you think for yourself, who can mislead you? If you can read for yourself, who can mislead you? I don't need anybody to stand in front of me holding a banner or somebody's picture. I don't need that. And the thing about the funny thing about even that time, I rarely hear like the average. I always hear the complaints about. I always hear some complaints about those times, but I never really hear like I've never even hear my parents say specific things about that time. Okay, I heard you say what you didn't have, but what did you have, and what was the quality of that, and what were you doing? What were you doing to advance yourself? Were you doing everything that you could do during that time to make you the best? Were you doing the best, your very best in everything you were doing? Or were you exceptional, or were you just getting by and looking at somebody else complaining? You know what? I'm still catching up. Let's see. The rapper 10,000. Thank you so much for coming in. No, I did not. I think I saw something about Bernie Sanders making out. Did he make a follow-up comment on it? What the rapper? I'm not laughing at you. That's a familiarity that's a laugh of I know that personality type just nonstop. Ay, ay, ay. It's just sick. It's really sick. I think, but I've said this before. I think there's an even bigger elephant in the room. This country, we have people that don't deal with their issues, and then when it comes out, now it's yours and my problem. I mean, I think I read some lunacy from, what was it, Rutgers? I think I kind of got into that. I think I got a little bit into that. Where they're dumbing down the English. I just say, why are we regressive right now? And it's not. But that's the irony. Why would you take measures to take people backwards if you're so progressive? You take people back to segregation. Yeah, it was the English department grammar. Rutgers finding that grammar racist, or I guess they're trying to prove that argument. But there again, here, this is all like 1960 something. They have to they have to euphemize everything. And certain people just fall for it. Hook, line, and sinker. It's like, who wants to go to a place where everybody's just going to roll over and say, hey, you don't even have to try. Just come in here. And, we know you can't do this. So here you go. And then eventually, when you run into somebody else with a different standard, oh, you drop out or you didn't get the job. Shout out to everybody in the stream. See, I'm going to do a few shout outs here. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Shout out to the rapper 10,000. I do want to apologize. I'm not going to bring this up again, but I apologize for the inconsistencies on the schedule, especially the Monday. The Monday, Tuesday was initially locked in. And then all of a sudden I had something that I needed to attend at that hour, and it just became offset the Mondays. But this next on Sunday, between now and next week, I think this next Monday, at least next Monday and Tuesday will be regular scheduled, but the following weeks I might change it just a little. I may not have to change it. It should either be locked in or I may have to change it a little bit. But that's the Monday. I'll get it where it's consistent again, and there won't be any changes through December. If I'm still on, if we're still on, because guys, we're less than 100 days before, who knows if this circus is going to end. What is it on Capitol Hill? What's on the docket? Everybody's going to the Capitol, doing a Capitol Hill meeting or making an appearance this week. Or they did. This week's almost done. Tomorrow is Friday. So what did you have? You had the four CEOs on Capitol Hill. And of course, they were defending. Of course, you had people attacking the actual the frontline doctors. Let's see. Yeah, but we had the four CEOs, social media on Capitol Hill: Zuckerberg, Pichai, Cook, and Bezos, which they didn't have answers for most of the questions they were asked. I'm not really sure what exactly they're going to do. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do. I mean, of course, and then they said that, it was dangerous misinformation, those frontline doctors. But then I think, was it Lou Gomer of the House of Representatives has COVID-19, I believe. But see, there again, they've said that Herman Cain passed away from COVID-19, but I think that's probably going to be out. That's probably going to be out for debate, based on all the flip-flopping, based on the amount of deaths that they've counted that have been unrelated to it. DJ says it's funny how they pulled the Colby videos approving the HC at the doctor's meeting. Yeah. Yeah, of course they're trying to discredit. Now, see, there you go. There comes the hypocrisy. Now, this woman, Stella Emanuel, is she checks every box. She checks every box at the left champions, but they wasted no time trying to discredit this woman, defame her, and who knows what else? Who knows? But of course, unless we've talked about the coin shortage and we've talked about the vaccine. So now we got two problems, right? All of a sudden, we got all these problems. And of course, they have a solution. So of course, they don't want anything. I mean, I would imagine I would just end up suing these people. Is what I would end up doing. And I think Stella should end up suing them as well, because she was the most vocal, most emphatic. I mean, I thought they all represented themselves well, but she doesn't really appear to be a professional or a person that's going to just roll over and say, I don't know what I'm talking about. She's not going to be swayed, or she's not going to be intimidated. I just don't think that's going to happen either. I mean, and this is a very statist approach that we've taken to healthcare all of a sudden. If you guys see that, you see, when did we make Fauci the American doctor? And who are they treating at the CDC? Is that who you guys are going to call? Shout out to the Definition of Anarchy. Thank you so much for coming in. Old head. I'm really behind right now. I want to look into that story very much. I'm wondering what the tune will be. I'm going to post that on the screen. Old head dude says, "Did you hear Trump wants to postpone the election?" I've been thinking that for a long time myself. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's just do that. Because this is my honestly, I'm not even sure that I'm not sure if any type of peaceful, if any civility is going to be restored, win or lose. I really don't. I mean, I think this is more about the Great Reset, and we talked about that today. And of course, there's always information. There's always things out there floating around about the Great Reset and how they're not getting the kind of response that they want. The U.S. is not cooperating. Yeah, I've heard that. Old head deuce. I'm not really sure the context of that comment, but I think I did see something about. I did see a video maybe, but I don't think he was saying that. I don't think he was. That was a. That was a. That wasn't. That was a. I don't think that was a pro-Trump compliment. I don't. But we'll see. It's winding down, without a doubt. Oh, he did. Well, I think the video that I saw was only like a minute and 16 seconds. So maybe I should get. Do you know who he was doing that interview with? Is it almost? I'm not sure. I need to look. I need to find the whole video. Was that a Tavis Smiley interview? Because that whole Me Too movement, they just kind of, they cut a bunch of people off at the knees right away. So I'll look into it. I'll look into that whole video. Find the whole video. Shout out to everybody that's in the stream. I appreciate you guys coming in. But I'm telling you that you got to dig deep to find the truth. The truth is thick. And I think that's like why a lot of people just, there's black sheep, Sorry, guys. I know that was a little over the top. That was a little bit indulgent of me, but I just felt compelled to do it. Yeah, I really should get these names together and catch up on some of these. I mean, I've seen some things, but not some of the things that you guys are mentioning. I haven't seen them in context, and I've kind of heard the plural of people saying them, and I haven't seen. Oh my gosh, no way, Nacon Shop. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for coming over. You guys check out Nacon Shop's page. Nacon Shop. I haven't been over in a while, but Nacon has a lot of energy, and he always gives you a good show. You'll be well received there, and just check it out. You can, if you like it, hang around. But always a good time over there. Yeah, I'm serious. I'm not sure what's going to happen with the civility, but it's not. I know the crime rate's up and the civility is down. That's what I can say. That's a true story. Oh wow! Thank you so much, blessed family. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I need to go over and visit Nacon, and I've been doing like a bunch of things. Hello, Jeff M, Teleregine. Thank you guys so much for coming in and rating Black Spring, moonlighting with Black Spring. Yeah, I never have this many people on the Moonlight stream, which I haven't done them in a while either. I used to do a live stream just about every evening. I used to, but then I wasn't doing so many in the morning. Hi, Shernette Stewart. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you guys so much for the raid. That Nacon Shop. Yeah, I used to do more live streams in the evening. I did, but I never had this many people. So thanks so much, guys, for coming out. So let's go over to another story, if that's all right with you guys. Okay, we're going to go over to, it looks like the NFL has kind of chimed in on their players and what they can do. So I'm going to be sharing that with you guys. So just give me 1 second here. Shout out to everybody in the stream, and thank you so much for joining me on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. Thank you so much, blessed family. I appreciate you guys, and I'll make sure if you guys tag me, I'll come over and check out your page. Thank you guys for doing your due diligence and hitting that thumbs up or thumbs down or throwing that caution to the wind, sharing. All right, so let's go on over to, let's see what the NFL has on the docket for today. Thank you so much, Teleregine. Thank you. Let's see. How many French speakers in the house tonight? Okay. What I should say, bilinguals here. All right, so I'm going to take you guys over to what the NFL is up to now. All right, let's see what this looks like. There's no audio on this. Oops. Oh, wrong one. Okay, sorry about that. We'll get you guys the right one here in just a second. I was just on that. All right, so this is the NFL just declared war on church. Now, this is from the Federalist. Of course, the Federalist has been at the helm of the actual censorship, which of course the Democrats said, oh, I don't know why they're whining. Why are you guys whining about being censored, you conservatives? Bunch of narcs. You know, that panel with AG Barr the other day, those people were absolutely insolent. You know, it's like they're just a bunch of paper gangsters. I just don't see how the country can be restored with that much corruption going on. All right. Okay, on y va. Here we go. All right, so the NFL just declared war on church. Now, this is from thefederalist.com. All right, I'm going to be in and out of this one. It says a deal reached by the National Football League and the NFL Players Association bans players from attending any indoor church services that are above 25% capacity. Multiple sources told NBC Sports on Saturday. Alongside its restrictions on attending worship services, the collective bargaining agreement, the CBA, also prohibits players from attending indoor nightclubs and bars, except for takeout, indoor concerts, professional sports games, and indoor parties that include more than 15 or more people. All right. The deal has not been publicly released, but NBC Sports made no mention of any restrictions on attending protests. That's perfect, right? All right. Meanwhile, the NFL's Twitter account has been sharing and celebrating pictures of players engaging in protest around the country. So here you go. Now, you know, you're gonna have to let it take one for the team or let it go if I butcher somebody's name or their affiliation here. So apparently, this is what at Jaguars, RB Leonard Fournette organized a peaceful protest in Jackson yesterday. All right, so this is Jameis Winston joined the BLM protest with his son. So there you got that. All right. Redskins quarterback Dwayne Haskins pays a visit to BLM Plaza in D.C. All right. So a June 5th tweet from the NFL also affirmed that, quote, we, the NFL, encourage all to speak out and peacefully protest, end quote. And it looks like it says, we, the NFL, condemn racism and the systemic oppression of Black people. We, the NFL, admit we were wrong for not listening to NFL players earlier and encourage all to speak out and peacefully protest. We, the NFL, believe Black Lives Matter. Inspire change. All right. So let me just hit the button here. We'll see what he's saying. I don't know this guy, but he means something to somebody, but let's hit it.
It has been a difficult time for our country, in particular, Black people in our country. First, my condolences to the family. We, the National Football League, admit we were wrong for not listening to NFL players earlier and encourage all to speak out and peacefully protest. We, the National Football League, believe Black Lives Matter. I personally protest with you and want to be part of the much-needed change in this country. Without Black players, there would be no National Football League. And the protests around the country
All right. Thank you so much, Nacon Shop. Thank you so much for the raid. Merci, mon ami. All right. Thank you so much, blessed family. I appreciate that. I will see you soon. All right, guys. So that I didn't mean to steal that guy's time or whatever. I reclaim my time. So let's do, okay, so I don't know what this guy's name is. I don't know how it got lost on me. I fell down a hole. But I guess maybe he's some, I don't know what he is to the group, to the organization, but all right, I'll continue this one. It says, as with more typical CBAs, players can face fines if they don't comply with the restrictions. If they don't comply with the restrictions on church and the other activities listed, the fines for each offense can carry, and while they haven't been revealed for this agreement, violating the CBA used to regulate conduct on field can result in fines from $5,000 to over $70,000. Now, NBC Sports also reported that players who test positive for the pandemic after violating the CBA won't be paid for games they aren't able to attend. They would also forego any future guarantees made in their contracts. Wow. You know what? This is despicable. So it's like, it is more of an attack. Okay, and then finally, if players do violate the rules, NBC Sports speculates that teams may, quote, rely on contracts within the community to contact the team when violations are witnessed. Oh, God. Bunch of darks. This is Germany. Is this Germany that we live in? Or even use a tip line. Would they say the snitches get rewarded? Is that that's the new paradigm, right? In other words, members of the community would be encouraged to report the players they see trying to attend church. Other ideas suggested by NBC include tracking players or stationing officials at, quote, local establishments, end quote, potentially including players' houses of worship. Oof. Gross. There you go, America. Hi, it's me, Rosa. Thanks so much for coming in, guys. I really appreciate it. So I'm probably going to wrap up this stream in about 5 minutes. Just wanted to come back in, and it's possible I will see you tomorrow. If that's so, it may be like at 8 o'clock, maybe. If it happens, I'll go ahead and post it tonight. So maybe at 8 tomorrow. But definitely back on Monday. Monday at 10. Tuesday at 10. And who knows, I might even do something this weekend. I mean, we're never short on things going on. You can't catch everything. You cast a net, but you can't catch everything. I appreciate you guys for listening to the rant, and appreciate you guys for being patient earlier today. Yep. All right. So I'm going to give a few shout outs. So I'd like to thank the loyal patrons once again. Thanks so much to Derek C. Williams, Kill Rail Channels. The Definition of Anarchy was just here. Shout out to Angels Army, Chrysler Imperial H, Gary L. Young Keys Jr., Angels Army, Little Miss Goth, and a shout out to Cold War Jesus. And thank you guys, the loyal subscribers, for tuning in to this segment. I know it was partially a rant or a bunch of, I guess, like 2% affirmations. And silly ass is the 15-minute rule 7? Is the 15-minute rule? We'll see. But I appreciate you guys so much for coming in. Thank you so much, the Definition of Anarchy. You guys check out everybody in the stream. Even though it's not a growth stream, I encourage you guys to check out the subscribers as well as loyal patrons. Check it out. Don't miss it. We have quite a few patrons in here tonight. Definition of Anarchy's here. A lot of loyal subscribers that are here. Crazy Chick Sheena, Celia as I Want to Be, Old Head Deuce, DJ Vision Barnett, the rapper 10,000, Crazy Chick Sheena. And we had somebody new to drop in, Blessed Family. So we'll see, Nacon Shop was here. Nacon's a solid, always a good time over there. Great energy over there. Nice people. I thank you guys for the raid, Nacon Shop. I will be seeing you soon. I appreciate that. I really do. I kind of had a crazy week, but it's every week. It can be a little crazy. But I tell you what, I'll see you guys later, maybe as early as tomorrow at 8. That's 8 PST. If it happens, it'll be at 8 PST tomorrow. And check out the community tab. And I'm behind, but we're going to have a guest. I anticipate we're going to have a guest soon. I think if I'm lucky, it'll happen this month. But stay tuned to your community tab. It's probably another poll coming out. And then also there's going to be a newsletter coming out in just a few minutes. So I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks so much. It's me, Rosa. And you guys have a great rest of your evening. And I will see you guys tomorrow.